13.5 metric tons. Because these are some big boys.
Allumage 2 ESR, décollage.
And liftoff of New Glenn 3. Falcon 9 launching BlueBird 8 to 10. I am your host, Max, a launch photographer here at ThatSpaceDogeGuy, and I'm joined here by my guest, Meep.
Hello, everybody.
So we are currently 24 minutes and 30 seconds away from launch. We see venting going on that first stage booster and some frost. All right, so as we're going through the countdown here, I think it's a good time to start asking questions. So, Meep, what's gonna happen soon in the count coming up?
All right, so basically what's going to happen is in about 3 minutes or so, we're going to have the LOX chill down vent. And what that is going to do is cool down all of the lines on the second stage pipes to prepare for liquid oxygen going into the second stage. That's going to happen at T-minus 20 minutes and 20 seconds. And it's going to produce a big white cloud all around the transporter erector stand that you see off to the right of the rocket. So right now, all the fog that you guys see and the vapor is basically just the cold LOX in the first stage and the cold propellant in the first stage that is actually just seeping out from the actual tank. This will be an actual closeout that we're going to see in about, and it's going to be much bigger in about just under 2 minutes time.
I think while we're waiting, I'm gonna give some stats right now. So this is the BlueBird 8 to 10 mission, and basically these are supposed to be for cellular service coverage, bandwidth services, and this is actually the Block 2 version of the BlueBird satellite constellation. This rocket is launching on a Falcon 9 Block 5, which first flew from 39A on in 2018. It is launching from Slick 40 at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. The booster is Booster 1077, which will be landing offshore in the Atlantic Ocean on a shortfall of gravitas. This will be the 29th flight of Booster 1077. So we're hoping to see a show here. Some of its notable missions are Crew 5, CRS SpaceX 28, and CRS NG 20, which carried the Cygnus spacecraft to the ISS.
And there you go. There is the LOX chill down. You can see that big prominent white cloud of vapor coming out of the TE stand there. And that's going to last for about 2 to 3 minutes. And it's going to make sure that the lines are cold for the transfer of liquid oxygen into the second stage.
So by the venting here, we can already tell that that this rocket uses chilled liquid oxygen, but what kind of fuels does the Falcon 9 use, and how does this compare to that of other rockets on the market?
So Falcon 9 uses refined kerosene, rocket-grade kerosene, also known as RP1. It's kind of the only rocket in America that does that. I'm pretty sure there's at least one Chinese rocket that does that. But most of the other American rockets, for example, New Glenn uses methalox and hydrolox. So that's methane and hydrogen. SLS uses hydrolox and solid rocket boosters. And there's, of course, Spectrum uses propane, which is going to be very interesting to watch, that plume. But yeah, this is kind of the only rocket that uses this RP1. It used to be quite common in the older days of rocketry. It's very good for ground level sort of operations, but it kind of loses its efficiency once you get up into space. So it's good for a first stage, but not so good for a second stage.
So we should be seeing here in a few moments will be the beginning of the liquid oxygen load on stage 2.
We've got Jersey in the chat asking, at what point did they change the name for what point did they change the name for Falcon 9? Sorry about that. From full thrust to the regular Block 5. That happened in 2017.
Let's see. Yeah, Block 3. Let's see. Yeah, you can answer that. You can answer that.
Yeah, the first maiden flight of the full Block 4 design was the CRS-12 mission on 14th of August 2017. So that's the first mission that the full thrust version 1.2 was no longer used. And you guys can see that the LOX shutdown vent has stopped, indicating that the liquid oxygen is now being added to that second stage, rather than being expended into the atmosphere.
And the little point with the question from Jersey 1327. The full thrust version of Falcon 9, which is V1.2, Block 4 was basically just an upgraded version of full thrust. Block 3 was the first version of full thrust. That's the rocket where the first Falcon 9 flight happens, and then the Block 3 was where like I'm pretty sure that's the debut of the full thrust variant was the first landing of the Falcon 9, and then Block 4 is still full thrust but upgraded. And then the full thrust name was ultimately dropped when Block 5 came online in May 2018.
All right. Uh-oh. Hold on. Don't do anything. All right, everyone.
Hello, Aiden.
Hello. Just coming on the stream here to say hello. We'll all be here for a little bit throughout the launch. Saying, hello, everyone. I'm the founder of ThatSpaceDogeGuy. I'm hosting the stream for today. And there are great commentators and guests for today. Max and Meep, as you heard earlier in the stream. Now we're still about 10 minutes away from the launch. So we got some time left to go. And we have...
It looks like SpaceX have started their live coverage.
Yep. That is correct. Jorshi saying, yeah, B4 and B5 and still full thrust. And the used to saying it, and then it trailed off from their announcements without anyone really noticing. Alright. Once again, you're seeing live coverage from SpaceX now. That's we're less than 10 minutes away.
And Delta X for the Stars asks, how do the Block 2 BlueBird satellites differ from the BlueBird 7? So I'm pretty sure, so BlueBird 7 is, was a Block 2. But
Yeah, so BlueBird 1 through 5 were Block 1, and then BlueBird 6 through 10 are Block 2. So BlueBird 6 was launched, I believe, aboard a Falcon 9, or maybe it was, actually no, BlueBird 6 was launched aboard an Indian vehicle. BlueBird 7 was meant to be launched aboard New Glenn 3, and it did launch, but it was inserted into an off-nominal orbit and deorbited itself after a few days. So here we have BlueBird 8, BlueBird 9, and BlueBird 10 ready for launch on Falcon 9 here today.
yeah, and assuming that BlueBird 7 was the Block 1 variant, I will still answer that. So the Block 2 offers up to 10 times the bandwidth capacity that the Block 1 would hold. So and they're able to provide more coverage with the Block 2s, and more communication options.
Yep. And about 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go until Falcon 9 launches BlueBird 8 to 10. So, Mabe, just want to ask you here, what do we have got coming up in the final minutes here? Because I believe engine chill is about to start, correct?
That is correct. Engine chill is scheduled for T-minus 7 minutes, and we won't be able to see it because the engines are currently well behind some trees. We might be able to see it from this camera, but it should be very noticeable because the engines are kind of inside the rocket. After engine chill, we will have the after engine chill, we will get at T-minus 5 minutes, the strong back will begin to retract from the rocket about 2.5 degrees, allowing the rocket to undergo final visual inspection checks and final go for launch. Around T-minus 1 minute, we will have the Falcon 9 entering start, which is when the automatic computers on board the system and automatic systems on the rocket go ahead and take over for mission control on all the computers. And then finally, there will be a launch director go for launch at about T-minus 40 seconds. That will be a verbal call that we may or may not be able to hear. And then finally, we'll have liftoff at T0.
All right, sounds absolutely amazing. Now, of course, we're getting some users coming in here. Please stand by, of course. Still trying our best to get our feed over. That might have some trouble through the way. Holy shit. I shouldn't be able to. Oh, well, hold on.
Next event will be at 4 minutes 30 seconds, where that strong back will retract from the booster.
Yeah, an air's view of the drone ship. Is it raining out there?
The camera might be a bit hazy.
Oh, that's also something. Yeah. There we go. Okay, we got the views we need of the rocket. This is the fairing cam. So this
should be able to
shows
see
second stage as well.
any second now. Sorry, we should be able to see any second now the strong back retract beginning to happen. First, those claws that are going around the rocket will retract, and then the strong back itself will come back about 2.5 degrees.
Indeed. So what we're looking for is the opening of what's called the cradle, which is clamped onto the second stage, just below the fairing.
Sorry for interrupting.
Looking for the moving of those cradles, and you can see the cradle moving away from the rocket, and we should start to see the actual strong back retracting in a moment after the cradle fully retracts.
Yep.
What that cradle is supposed to do is it sort of acts as a wind damper so the rocket doesn't sway around.
And there we go. It's now moving away from the Falcon 9 rocket, as you can see on your screen. We're now 3 minutes. The strong back Go ahead.
Will be retracting 2.5 degrees, and at liftoff, that strong back will retract even more, about 45 degrees away from the rocket as it rises.
just waiting for the call out of stage 1 launch load complete. Give me a second. And I'm just hearing the call out, stage 1 launch load complete. So, Meep, we're still going ahead right now. All right, we are coming up to 2 minutes until the launch. Jersey just saying they decided to stay with the heated helium pressurization for Falcon 9, didn't they? Didn't they stick to the other test they were doing a while ago? Meep, do you know about that? Okay, give me a second here. He will go ahead. Maybe we'll get through that question later since we're not so far away from launch here. Gas closeout started. Let's listen in to SpaceX's broadcast as well. Go ahead.
You see that lovely closeout there, that venting that is now closing out those lines, making sure there's nothing in them during launch that could potentially burn up if the lines were to get slightly damaged during launch, which they do often. So we are now 1 minute from launch. So I will leave it to the sound of the rocket.
All right, we're getting ready here. 40 seconds to go. Max will do the commentary until liftoff, and then we'll listen in to the sounds of the rumble.
So at 45 seconds that just passed, the launch director has given the go for launch for Falcon 9. At around, I'd say about 5 to 10 seconds before launch, we'll see the water deluge
T-minus 15
onto the pad.
seconds.
At 3 seconds,
T-minus 10,
we're going to
9,
see the ignition.
8, 7, 6,
So here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff.
Ignition
Go
and
Falcon.
liftoff
Go
from
BlueBird.
Falcon 9 with BlueBird 8 to 10.
Vehicle is pitching downrange. In 1D chamber pressures are nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds into flight.
We're a little more than a minute into flight. You can see probably going through max Q. We already have passed that. Beautiful shots here, of course, as we are through a minute and 40 seconds into flight. So, Meep, what's coming up next here in the count?
See. So next up, we'll.
I was asking you, but sure. Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Meep, do you have it? What's coming up next into flight? Because we're coming up to Miko here.
Alright, so in just a few seconds, we're going to have the main engines cut off. At that point, the stages will separate, and the fairing will also separate. Just a few seconds after that, and the second stage engine will light itself. The booster will then coast back to recovery. There we go. So you can see the main engine is cut off. And looks like we
Stage
have
separation
a
confirmed.
successful stage separation right there. And you can see
MVAC startup.
beautiful city lights of Florida as the MVAC engine ignites. So the booster at this point is going to coast back down to the ship a short fall of gravitas, while the second stage is destined for orbit.
Sounds good. We even have views of the second stage here. Just give me a second. There we have it.
Coming up in just a few moments will be fairing separation.
We'll wait for that.
Bearing separation confirmed.
And we hear fairing separation confirmed. Oh, there you go. There was a glimpse of that on your screen. You saw that for a second on the camera. It was too late to point it out, but absolutely amazing here. We're 4 minutes into flight. Now, of course, the booster for today, the B-1077, flying for its 29th time, will be landing on the shortfall of Gravitas here in about a few minutes. At least in a few minutes will be the
landing.
entry run. Go ahead.
Landing should be around T+8 minutes and 20 seconds, I believe. But yeah, the entry burn will be in about T+6 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, 4 minutes until that landing. So they must need a lot of liquid nitrogen to cool down those engine nozzles, Delta X is saying. There are no cams. I don't. So once again, this is SpaceX's coverage of the launch. Plus 5 minutes into the flight. At the moment, we are looking good here. Now coming up here shortly will be the entry burn. So I believe 3 engines will light up. And that basically will prevent it from burning up and go too fast. So we're killing fire with fire is how they say it, I believe. And we should see that entry burn startup here.
Burn startup.
And there we have entry burn startup.
You'll notice that the entry burn goes in that classic 1-3-1 pattern. The central engine lights first, followed by 2 outer engines lighting. Then those 2 outer engines will, in just a few seconds here, extinguish themselves. And then after that, the central engine will extinguish itself as well.
There we go. So that just happened here, and then in a few minutes time we should see landing burn startup following. Now the Griffins can do the work, right? Because they couldn't back when it was in the vacuum of space. Now it should be able to do its work. Of course, after this landing burn, well, if SpaceX will not end their coverage, it will be the end of the coverage for us as well. We'll continue to live stream until T plus 1 hour, I believe, is when the payload deploy. Yes, that might be a little long for a few of us, but if you want to stay here, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you can head out after. I'm talking to the commentators here. Of course, for the people on the stream too, that's your own preference, of course. So coming up is that landing burn here. All right, sure.
H2 FDS is saved.
There we go.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And there we have the landing burn. Should see those landing legs deploy.
See if we can get a visual of ASOC there. There we go.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And there we have it.
Impact shutdown.
And we have
Wow.
touchdown.
Touchdown.
Touchdown of booster number 1077 on its 29th landing.
Decent. Wow. That is absolutely amazing there. You saw that on your screen. Is that tipping over? Am I just crazy? Okay. I might be crazy. Anyway. I feel like it was sideways for a
And
second.
we do have MVAC shutdown. So at this point, the craft is going to coast up to its apoapsis of Earth. And then it is going to perform a second burn to raise the orbit.
So we're
And then it will deploy the satellites.
Yeah, and that will take approximately an hour, I believe, until we see any form of deployment here. Of course, we will stay live for the remainder of this sequence. Yeah, here. So SES2 start at 56 minutes. And they will be live for it. So that's absolutely amazing. Now, Meep, recap of what we just saw in the last 10 minutes.
All right, so you remember we had the final closeouts of the lines. We ended up with the launch after the deluge and engine ignition. We then saw the stage separate and the second stage ignite. We then saw the fairing separate from the craft, which will also be recovered today by the fairing recovery vessel Bob. That recovery should occur. Oh, look at that. We have orbital sunrise there.
Wow.
I think.
That is indeed orbital sunrise.
Anyway, as I was saying, we then had the entry burn and landing burn of the booster, as well as the first engine cut of the second stage, SECO 1. SECO 2 will not occur until, or rather SES, second engine start, will occur at T plus 46 minutes, as Aiden said. And SECO 2 will occur 46 seconds thereafter. After that, the satellites will deploy. A few minutes after that, each a few minutes to deploy from the craft. I believe BlueBird 10 is on top, so it will deploy first, followed by BlueBird 9, and then BlueBird 8.
All right. I will be checking here what deploys first and what last. No, it seems like we have BlueBird 8, 9, and then 10. Is that what you said? If that's what you said, I don't know.
Well, the SpaceX website does list BlueBird 8 to deploy first. However, due to the stacking order of the
Oh yeah, of course.
satellites on the craft, they stacked 10 on top. So unless they have a Pez dispenser on there, which I highly doubt, they're going to deploy 10 first. I think it's just a typo by somebody at SpaceX.
Fired. Well, all right, sounds good. We might be, if anyone has anything to say still, otherwise we'll take a break from the coverage and we'll return once that SES burn happens.
Our next big event will be SES2, which will be at 46 minutes into flight.
Yeah, so we'll return then.
But until then, we'll return maybe a couple of minutes before.
Let's say 43 is a good time.
Yeah.
We'll return 43 minutes into the flight. Sure thing. All right. Well, we'll keep everything on. I will just say here, commentary will return at 43. We said. All right. Well, sounds good. Commentary will return at T plus 43 minutes here. Until then, we will. If anyone has any questions, let's begin with that, because maybe anyone has any questions so far. If you guys want to answer them now. If you guys want to do that now. If you guys have any questions, if you don't, we'll get the coverage break on ahead.
Delta X for the stars says, if I don't have any questions, what do I do? You can just chill out, have it in the background, maybe.
Yeah.
Or just go to sleep if it's late for you.
Yeah.
Because I know it's pretty late for most people in America, myself included.
Eastern
time. Yeah, I was going to say I'm personally staying up until 3 a.m. for this launch, and there's going to be another launch at 6 a.m. for me, so I'm going to have to watch that as well.
Yeah, I'm pushing. I'm about to push into midnight here.
I'm seriously going to watch the Ariane 64.
And the Ariane 6 launch is gonna be at 5 a.m.
I'll be watching that while I'm gone, so that will not be streamed, sadly. But I will be watching it on my phone, so no worries. I will be up to date.
Give me channel permission.
No.
I'll happily stream that.
Not yet, Max. We'll get that solved in a few days. Because we need more streamers. Yeah, that's really a problem. 6 minutes until midnight. Oh, exciting. 6 minutes until it's 9 a.m. for me. 9 a.m. I'm a proud Dutch person. Yeah. Anyway. Should we just go to the coverage break on stream? If you guys would go ahead with that. If you guys want. Unless you have anything to say. Of course, all music is by Tess Schultz. Starfish here from the SpaceX coverage. All right, we'll take our coverage break here now. We will be back at T plus 43 minutes. Until then, enjoy all the tunes here from SpaceX. And there's that camera I was talking about, still disconnected. Nederlanders everywhere. You're Dutch. Let's go. Yeah, as the founder of the ThatSpaceDogeGuy, I'm proud to be a Dutch person. Haha. Gekke Hollanders. Anyway, enjoy the tunes. Welcome back, everyone, to the live coverage here. Welcome back, everyone, to the live coverage here of the launch of Falcon 9 and BlueBird 8 to 10. You see a lot of, well, we'll get to that, what that is later, but we are back here, and we are a few minutes away from SCS2 here. So, Meep back on the stream here. What is that? I should say, gas or propellant or whatever getting out of there?
So that is the onboard RCS system of the spacecraft. It is currently orienting the spacecraft in the precise right manner to actually be able to launch or perform the burn rather in the correct way. Also looks like it may be rolling up the spacecraft to perform the burn in a more controlled manner. I am not 100% sure though. Maybe not. I don't think it actually is rolling up the spacecraft or spin stabilizing it, but it looks like it's also, and then it also is performing another function, that being to get rid of what is known as ullage tanks. So ullage is when you have the fuel floating in the tank and it doesn't go near the engine, it floats in a different part of the tank. So by pushing all the fuel to the side of the tank with the engine in it, you're able to more successfully light the engine. So ullage is something that you have to watch out for. So they're probably preparing for the burn by doing that.
All right, sounds good. We should be a minute away now from that SCS2 here. Yep, we are indeed back. Welcome, everyone. Great to be back, of course, again. We were still live anyway.
In just 1 minute will be second engine start 2. And that singular MVAC ignition.
Ice.
Ooh, there's some ice floating on your screen. And as you can see, that RCS system is really working there.
Go ahead. Let me mute myself, hold on. Yeah, those white puffs.
Okay, so here we go.
RV.
Any second now will be second engine start 2.
RCS,
That singular
yep.
MVAC will ignite for 6 seconds.
Let's see. Here we go. Look at that. RCS.
So we're just waiting for ignition. Okay, and we have ignition.
And there we have ignition.
Ignition.
So that's SCS2. And
Just 6 seconds.
there is
And there was confirmation of them.
SECO2, I believe. Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
Nominal orbit insertion.
So the next
Nominal
event
orbit
will
insertion.
be... There's nominal orbital insertion. So, in around 7 minutes or so, we'll be the start.
Go ahead. Continue.
What was that?
No. Go ahead.
Next event will be at around 54 minutes 30 seconds when we'll have eight. Oh my goodness. When we will have BlueBird 8 deploy, or at least that's what it says on the thing. And then BlueBird 9 deploy, and then BlueBird 10 deploy.
We sorry. Sometimes we are having some interruptions here. Delta X, just to confirm, the fairing already deployed a while ago. About, what was that? Plus 3 minutes into the flight? That was already far into the flight. Oh, I just answered, but I forgot I was muted. I wasn't muted on stream, but we're good. Okay, anyway. Yeah, the fairing was already deployed at T plus 3 minutes. That would already happened. So, not sure why you thought the fairing did not deploy yet. But, hey, either their thing. And, hold on. That would have been a problem if the fairing was still on Jersey. Yeah. Welcome everyone back to the stream here. We had some stuff we had to talk about off stream here, but we are here again as we are coming up to the deployment of the BlueBird, which is BlueBird's 10. Meep, I think you know what.
So that's kind of where it's very interesting because, like I said earlier, the on the website it says 8 will deploy first, followed by 9, and then 10. However, 10 is stacked on the top of the spacecraft, which means it would normally be the first to deploy. So there's some discrepancy there. We will find out what's going to happen soon. But I would bet probably 90% chance that it's going to be 10 that deploys first.
Interesting. Okay. I'm just taking a look at someone's screen. Just max screen here.
Yeah, I have no idea unless.
It keeps getting blurred.
Yeah, because it is in fact stacked 10 first.
It is. Okay. So 10 will probably deploy first, maybe. We'll probably hear it from the call outs we're going to get. I don't know if we're in the loss of signal period for the camera. With the use of Starlink, I'm not sure myself, because we're not having any views as far. Justice delivery is crazy. So we should get... Well, listening to the SpaceX coverage just in case. So you might get jump scared by a woman talking. And we should have that first deployment now. Let's listen in.
Okay, any second now is going to be a deploy.
Nope. He crashed. Yeah, any second now is the deploy, but I don't think we're hearing any call outs, or we're in a loss of signal period where we're not going to get that confirmation. But I don't assume so.
Well, stage 2 is going over Australia, so we should have that ground station.
So we should
That's
have
in
confirmation
Australia,
of
but I
daily
don't know.
deploy when we go over our next ground station. So we'll
Maybe they're
update
just
you as
not
we
doing
get
a
info.
call out.
But
Oh,
the second
they're
satellite
underway
deployment
to
is
the
coming
next
up
ground
at
station.
T plus 59 minutes. So we'll take another short break
Okay.
and we'll see you back here in about 3.5 minutes.
So it should have deployed by now, but and we're in a new tracking station there now. Okay, so it seems like it was. I see what's happening. Okay, we're good. No. Okay, we're just going off the air because they're playing music again. We'll be back here shortly because I need to discuss them. Wait, are we on? Oh. Back on air here. Sorry for that quick break. We decided to investigate whatever we have later. So, we are coming up to deploy number 2, which is BlueBird. What did the stacking say? BlueBird 10 and then?
So regardless of what order they deployed in, it is going to be BlueBird 9. So it's either 8, 9, 10 or 10, 9, 8. And so the second one is always going to be 9.
Okay, I see how that is. So it's not like it's 10, 8, 9 or something. No, okay.
Why would it be 10, 8, 9?
Because they want to be funny. They wanna laugh. They wanna do a ha ha. And my phone broke. I broke my phone already. Oh, there we go. Eknip says, "Why not A10-9?" Well, that would be an interesting, interesting thing. Yeah. So for the people, can we just have a recap on what happened today in this event for the people just joining us here? If you can do that.
Yeah, so like I said, there was of course we had launched about just under an hour ago. That was from Cape Canaveral, Florida. The first stage successfully landed on the the drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas. Of course, just reading instructions is no longer active on the East Coast, so ASOG is the only option for drone ship landings. And then we had the successful parking orbit insertion around T+8 minutes. Hey, look, we got some live views from the payload area. Anyway, and then we are now here after a successful second engine startup, number 2. And then we are currently deploying all of our satellites that we just launched into orbit. Or that's not we, but SpaceX.
Yeah.
Be kind of interesting if I were a satellite myself, but that's something for another day.
Yeah. There we go. Views of the second stage. And we just saw the payload section, of course.
And there you can see the Earth
It's
slowly
round.
going into night.
It is round still.
Yeah, guys, the Earth is round. It's not flat. Yeah.
Man, I really thought it was flat. Just kidding.
A big piece of ice hanging on the
look at
vent
that.
there.
That's cool. I want to is that safe to
Eat it.
Oh, that came from the
I think it's frozen oxygen.
That is cool.
No, it's
Or is
yeah,
it
you're
vapor?
right. It's frozen cold gas propellant. So it's
That's so cool, not gonna lie.
It's not water. It's not water ice.
So when it's warm, it doesn't really. It just. It's like what we saw with the cold gas thrusters. The Germans could probably find a way for us to bet on the ice break off. Oh, I think I'm seeing a payload deploy.
Oh yeah, we see something
Look
there.
at that. Is that number 2?
I think that's the. Yeah, I think that's number 2.
That is very cool. We're hardly gonna see number 3, I believe. That is sad, but that was very cool to see. There's a payload there. You still see it slowly drifting off. And then this payload that you're seeing fully on the screen should be deploying soon as well, right? Is that the entire thing? Look at that. That is number 1 on the... Is that number 1? No. Wait, yeah, it is, because we just saw number 2 on this screen. Ah, wow. And then...
Now we're gonna wait for the deploy of number 3, which should happen at 1 hour 5 minutes.
I think we're gonna have the best views in number 3, because that's literally what you're seeing on your screen.
I mean, yeah, that ice is pretty cool to see on the second stage, but
yeah,
the ice has never been too friendly with the second stage, such as what happens in July 2024 when there was an oxygen leak and everything froze up, and then the Starlink satellites were in a too low of an orbit.
Oh yeah, that was a time.
And you could see it was just like a wall of ice, like emerging from like the tin hovering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was an interesting day.
We are under 2 minutes away from the deployment of satellite number 3. I guess not number 3, number 8. But
Technically number
the
8,
third
yes.
satellite in this launch.
Yes. And it's past Australia. Just entering its nighttime. And there we should see number 3 in the glazing sun.
You want to try to pull this image up on stream?
BlueBird Block 2, BB-8, separation confirmed.
This is the failure.
Full payload successfully confirmed.
First we'll get the payload here as deploying.
And there we have the final
Yes, the
BlueBird
payload
satellite for
is
today's
scheduled to
mission,
deploy
separating
at
from the
T
second
plus
stage.
1 hour,
And that'll
5
bring us
minutes,
to the end
7
of our live
seconds,
mission
according
coverage.
to SpaceX's
We would like to
I just
thank
heard the
AST
deploy
Space.
confirmation here, and they're gonna end the coverage. So this already happened. I just want to show a picture on stream here in a moment. Wait, wait, it was already announced a failure on stream, or what?
No, this is what happened in July 2024. I was just giving an example of what that actually looked like.
Okay, give me a second. We'll pull up the image. So, can you explain a bit more what happened here once again? So this was from July.
So, yeah, this was in July of 2024, and that, as you can see, the second stage, the foil, it's all full of ice because there was an oxygen leak in the engine, and that froze up all of the critical components, and the second stage wasn't able to complete its full mission, leaving the Starlink V2 mini satellites that were on board in a lower than intended orbit.
Yeah. So that happened.
So that's what ice can do to the Falcon 9.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty clear result.
Thankfully, that did not happen on this launch, and we have successful deployment of all 3 satellites into a sort of medium Earth orbit. Not really medium, but higher than Starlink.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will conclude the coverage here for us. That was a great launch. Absolutely. Meeb, do you have anything to say about that?
No, I think you said it. It's pretty cool launch, and I hope you guys can come join us this Sunday for the Starfall demo.
Yep. Will you be back, Meeb? I allow you to be back if you want to.
I may be back. I am not sure. Stay tuned on that one. And if you want to get all of the updates, you can join our community Discord server. The link is in the channel description.
Yes, channel description.
I'll send it in chat.
Go ahead, send it in chat. It was great to have y'all here today. Thanks for coming, Jersey. Thanks, Delta X, and thanks, Eknep. And thanks, of course, for all the rest of the viewers who did not chat, but absolutely did watch today's stream, which was, once again, absolutely amazing. And thank you all for coming to today's launch. We'll see you Sunday for the launch of Falcon 9, launching Starfall demo. And until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Allumage 2 ESR, décollage.
And liftoff of New Glenn 3.